the basic units of life. Cell is the fundamental unit of life. All the living organisms are made up of cell. It is the structural and functional unit of life because whole body is made up of cells. It is known as the fundamental unit of life because it regulates all the functions inside an organism. The cell is a Latin word which means a little room. Robert Hooke discovered cell. Robert Hooke in 1665 observed slices of cork under a simple magnifying device. Cork is a part of the bark of a tree. He took thin slices of cork and observed them under a microscope. He noticed partitioned boxes or compartments in the cork slice. What are microscopes? Microscopes are high-resolution instruments which are used to magnify the size of the objects. Magnification refers to the microscope's power to increase an object's apparent size, whereas resolution refers to the microscope's power to show detail clearly. Important people and cells. Robert Hooke coined the word cell to describe what he saw when looking at slices of cork under a microscope. Antony van Leeuwenhoek invented the microscope. Swan, Schleiden, and Virchow came up with the cell theory. Contributors to the cell theory. In 1838, Matthias Schleiden suggested that all plants are made of cells. In 1839, Theodor Swan suggested that all animals are made of cells. In 1855, Rudolf Virchow gave a theory which states that all cells arise from pre-existing cells by cell division. The postulates of cell theory. All organisms are made of cells. All cells come from pre-existing cells. Cells are the structural and functional units of living things. What are unicellular and multicellular organisms? Unicellular organisms are composed of single cell. The single cell constitutes the structure and entire function of the organisms. Examples of unicellular organisms are an amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc. What are multicellular organisms? Multicellular organisms are made of two or more cells. These organisms are able to be seen with the naked eye. These organisms need all parts of itself to survive. Now there are two categories of cells: the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotes has no membrane-bound organelles. In prokaryote, the genetic material is not in the nucleus. Prokaryotes are bounded by cell membrane and the size of the cell is small. In eukaryotes, all the organelles are present The genetic material is contained in the nucleus. The cell is bounded by a cell membrane and the size of the cell is large. Eukaryotes. Eukaryote is a Greek word which means true nucleus. Reflects the idea that eukaryotes developed after prokaryotes. In eukaryote, nucleus is present that contains DNA. The eukaryotes contain membrane-bound organelles. The eukaryotes can be unicellular or multicellular. The eukaryotes contains more complex internal structures. Examples of eukaryotes include plant cells, protists, animal cells, and fungi. Prokaryotes. Bacteria are the most common prokaryotic cell. They do not have a nucleus, but to contain a single circular chromosome made of DNA, which is found in the nucleoid region. Like all cells, bacteria are surrounded by a cell membrane, which contains the gel-like cytosol of the cell. Now, what are the differences between the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes? The prokaryotes are small in size, that is 1 to 10 micrometer. On the other hand, the eukaryotes are larger in size, that is 5 to 100 micrometer. In prokaryotes, an organized nucleus is absent and a single DNA molecule is present which is suspended in the cytoplasm and the nucleolus is absent. Whereas in eukaryotes, an organized nucleus is present with nuclear envelope, the nucleolus is present and several DNA molecules are present. In prokaryotes, membrane-bound cell organelles are absent. On the other hand, in eukaryotes, membrane-bound cell organelles are present. In prokaryotes, typical vacuoles are absent. In eukaryotes, typical vacuoles are present. In prokaryotes, mitosis is absent. In eukaryote, mitosis is present. Examples of prokaryotes are bacteria, cyanobacteria, etc. Examples of eukaryotes are plants, animals, fungi, etc. Shape of the cells. Cells are of different shapes. Some cells keep changing their shape. For example, an amoeba changes its shape. Some cells are spherical, round, elongated, spindle-shaped, or branched. Cell size. The size of the cell is variable depending upon the type of organism. Some are microscopic while some are visible with naked eyes. Their size may vary from 0.2 mm to 18 cm. The size of a typical cell in a multicellular organism ranges from 20 to 30 mm. The biggest cell is of an ostrich egg, which is 6 inches long, 5 inches wide, and it weighs 3 pounds. The longest cell is of a nerve cell, and the length of the cell is approximately 2 meters. The smallest cell is of a bacterium, which is 2 to 10 micrometer.